I always low-key fear that I am not mixing up my cubes well enough. I don't know why, it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm in a competition or anything, but I don't know. Any facts on marine biology? The Sargasso Sea is a sea that is completely surrounded by more ocean, and the only reason why it's a separate sea and not just part of the ocean is because it has a very specific type of seaweed in there that only grows in that one region. How is magma created? It's just hot rock, like really, really hot rock, pretty much. I don't know how it gets hot. Facts about eyes. Your eyes have something called immune privilege, I think, which is the fact that your eyes don't interact with as much junk as the rest of your body does, because the eyes are so important and so delicate that they just are protected from the rest of your immune system by your body. How much sleep do I get? Ideally more than 8 hours. Sleep is very, very important. If there's anything that you want to do to improve your health, your best bet is gonna be to get enough sleep. Like if you want to have healthy physical health, get good sleep. If you want to have good memory, get good sleep. If you want to be happier, get good sleep. You don't have to sleep the full 8 hours all the time, but like it is definitely good for your health to sleep as, not necessarily like as much as you can, because you can definitely have too much sleep, but like around 8 hours or thereabouts. What is my favorite fact? My favorite fact is probably all of the facts about like happiness studies, because in general humans are very happy to help each other. It genuinely makes people happier to help others than to like just help themselves. Of course, given like a baseline, their needs are all met, but like there's a study that was done in which people were given either the option to spend a small amount of money on themselves or on other people, and people actually reported being happier spending the money on other people instead of themselves. So I like any studies that gives me hope in humanity. Facts about loneliness is that loneliness is actually really bad for your health. Similar thing to how like sleep is a really good indicator of how to be healthy. Being isolated and not getting enough social interaction is a very big indicator of how to be unhealthy and sad. So be social a little bit at least. Facts on turtles is that aquatic turtles sleep underwater. They can just hold their breath for a really long time. There's no evidence that Vikings had horns on their helmets. That's interesting. I have heard of that before, but I don't have a fact check on it. Cacti fact. People have made leather out of cacti, like vegan leather out of cacti. You just got your toe amputated? Oh no! Well, a fun toe fact is that one of the ancient species of human called the Denisovans, I believe, their DNA was found from their big toe. So we just found a big toe, and scientists sequenced it and were like, hey, this was from a Denisovan big toe. So maybe your amputated toe will be useful to science one day. Good luck. Oh, somebody on one of my videos asked what heavy water is. Heavy water is D2O instead of H2O, and the D stands for deuterium, which is just hydrogen with an extra neutron in it. So it's heavy water because it literally has more atomic mass. Vegans are just people who'd rather kill plants than animals. That's funny. Yes, I suppose that's accurate. What do I think about AI? I think AI is fine. I think the reason why people are so scared about AI right now is because it has a lot of potential and we don't know a lot about it, at least not in the new ways that people are able to use it, because AI has been around for a really, really long time, okay? Like, AI is totally not new. What is new is stuff like ChatGPT, where we are introducing large language models to a general audience, but we have been using machine learning and AI and like generative AI for kind of a while now. It just hasn't been as widespread and have the potential to affect people's lives so much. So I think AI is fine. It's not as scary as people make it out to be, and I think that if we all are good citizens of the internet, then it'll be fine and not actually that scary. So you can definitely use AI for bad things, but like AI itself is not inherently bad. We use AI for so many things. Flower fact is that if you were a pollinator, like a little bee, you would be able to see ultraviolet stripes on flower petals, pretty much like telling you where the center of the flower is to go get your pollen from. Facts about the nervous system. Ooh, interesting. You have kind of two basic parts of your nervous system. One is called the sympathetic nervous system, and the other is called the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is meant to make you more alert. So that's going to be your fight or flight. That's going to be like immediate action now. So like if you need to respond to a threat, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, and that's where your instincts come in. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the part of the nervous system that calms you down afterwards. So like after you are jump scared, for example, then your parasympathetic nervous system, or your sympathetic nervous system makes you jump, and then your parasympathetic will calm down your heart rate afterwards. An eye fact is that the way that light hits the back of your eye, the image hits your eye back upside down. So image hits your eye, flips, and then your brain flips it back around so you can see things actually right side up. Any cat facts? A group of cats is called a clouder. I think that's a fun fact. Fish fact. There are competing theories that either everything is fish or there are no such thing as fish. And I think that's funny. Like science conspiracy theories. They're not actually serious. People know what fish are, but actually, do people know what fish are? Jury's still out on that one. Sloth fact. Boy howdy, do I have the sloth fact for you. I only have one sloth fact, and I always share the same sloth fact because it's, I don't know, kind of my trademark now. But the sloth fact is that sloths live most of their lives in trees, and since they are slow and can't run away quickly, that's how they keep safe from predators. But one thing they do come off the trees for is to go poop. But they take a really long time to do it, as they do with most things, and they take like an hour to poop. So more than half of all sloth deaths happen while they are just trying to use the bathroom. So rip sloths. Did I know that cashews come in a fruit? Yes. I love that YouTube video. It's very funny. That was from a long time ago. Facts about tap water. There's terminology called hard water or soft water, and that just refers to the mineral content in there. So hard water is water that has a lot of mineral in it, dissolved in it, and soft water is water that doesn't have a lot of minerals in it. So if you ever hear those words, that's what they mean. What's my dream career? Maybe a combination of science communication and like public health sciences. So if I could take my content creation to a level where people actually care about what I have to say, and I can build my living off of just talking about science, I think that would be awesome. I should be a lecturer at TED Talks. I don't know if I have quite the TED Talk personality though. I feel like TED Talks are like, I only have one thing to say, but it's like very, very interesting and niche. And I have like a lot of little unniche things to say. Just get up there and do a cube. That's a talent show, not a TED Talk. Have I ever thought about making my own science podcast? I have thought about it, but I feel like the format of my lives is very specifically conducive to doing lives. I repeat facts a lot between my lives. So if you stay for all of my lives, you hear me say the same thing maybe a couple times. And I don't know, it would just have to be a totally different format than my usual lives. So I've thought about it, but I'm not sure yet. I think my first project is going to be expanding to YouTube. Facts about music. There's a musical instrument called the didgeridoo that is characteristically Australian, I believe. Australians, correct me if I'm wrong, but didgeridoo I think is just the best name, and it sounds exactly like you would expect an instrument called a didgeridoo to sound like. Facts about the African continent is that humans originated from Africa, so people from Africa have the most genetic diversity than any other population, because all of the other global populations originated as a subset of the African population. So, because like humans started in Africa, then spread out to the rest of the globe. Can you get some info on exoplanets? Exoplanets are planets that are not in this solar system, which like to our modern ears sounds like, hey, there's probably a lot of exoplanets, and there are. But when people didn't know really what exoplanets were, they were like, maybe there's like a few out there, but there's actually thousands. Human biology fact. Just because a trait is dominant doesn't mean that it's more common. For example, polydactyly, which is having more than 5 fingers, is a dominant trait, but it is, as you know, not the most common. Poodle fact is that the classic poodle shape is just how they're classically groomed. There's nothing about them that makes them specifically grow that way. It's just, that's how people usually groom a poodle. Facts about bears, that there's only 8 types of bears. Last time I was able to name all the bears. So there's grizzly bears, black bears, Asian black bears, speckled bears, sun bears, polar bears. Oh geez. Nope, I don't have the last 2 today. I don't got it. You love that I keep bringing this up? Yep. See, like I said, there's a few facts that I just have in like my classics arsenal. So there's just like a few facts that every time somebody asks like the sloth fact, I only have 1 sloth fact, but that's on purpose actually. Or every time somebody brings up like dolphins, I have a few dolphin facts. Cats, I only have a few cat facts. It's just, given the fact that I have to know a lot of facts quickly about a variety of topics, it's kind of a brain shortcut for me to like have a few on hand. So that's why. Oh, and panda. Yeah, panda bears is one. What's the other one that I forgot? Not a koala. I said sun bear, didn't I? I said black bear generic. Is it American and Asiatic? Sloth bear. If I search up all 8 bears, then I will get them. Yes, I'm sure if I Googled the answer to the thing that I was trying to quiz myself on, I would be able to get it. Alligator fact. The reason why alligators are like theoretically immortal is because they have really long telomeres, which is the ends of their DNA. And telomeres are associated with all of the aging symptoms in animals and including humans. And alligators just have like really long telomeres and they can regenerate their telomeres, I think. So alligators just have these really long ends of their chromosomes, which helps them live for a long time. Shark fact is that sharks are obligate swimmers, which means they can never stop swimming or they die. Hypothetically, if some leather is made out of corn, could you eat it? No, you could not, because it is treated with many things that are not digestible, and I don't think it would taste very good either. So I don't eat plant leather. What's the biggest bear? I don't know this for a fact, but if I had to guess, I would say the polar bear. They're just like really giant dudes. Bro knows everything. I definitely do not know everything. Actually, I very frequently say all of the things that I don't know. Crab fact. There's a phenomenon called carcinization, which is the process in which like a lot of things have evolved into crabs or crab-like structures, because apparently being a crab is just an evolutionarily very advantageous shape. So go crabs. All things lead to crab. Yes, exactly. You love crab, far superior to lobster. Interesting. That's a hot take. Human fact. Let's see, what's a good human fact? So your tailbone is the bony part of your butt. And the reason why it's called a tailbone is because that's literally where our evolutionary tails used to be. But now the tailbone is what's called vestigial, which is the name for any structure that still exists, but in like a smaller or weakened form, because we don't use it anymore. So obviously we don't have tails, but we still have the tailbone because it is our vestigial tail structure. Can I do a tiger fact? Sure. A liger is a male lion and a female tiger, but scientists decided to give it a whole different name if it's a male tiger and a female lion, and that's a tigon. So I don't know why they needed to have different names, but they do. So that's the difference. The Komodo dragon fact is that people have this myth that Komodo dragons have like bacteria-filled mouths, and that they kill their prey by pretty much like infecting them with this bacterial infection and then like walking around until the animal dies from bacterial infection. But that is not true. That is a myth. And the reason why people had that misconception is because they saw a bunch of water buffaloes with Komodo dragon bites that were dying from bacterial infection in the wound, and they're like, wow, Komodo dragons are doing this on purpose, and they're hunting with bacterial infection from their bacteria full mouths. But that's actually not true. Komodo dragons are venomous, so they have like venom in their bites that kills prey, but water buffaloes are just not small enough to die from the amount of venom that the Komodo dragon has in its mouth. So the water buffaloes were getting bit, they survive, and then they walk around in dirty water and get infected from the dirty water in their wound. And that's why people were seeing water buffalo with wounds in them. And then ergo, misconception. How do you know if a snake is poisonous? I'm sure that there are actual guides out there, but I do not know, so I will not spread misinformation. You don't think any snakes are poisonous? I would not say that that is true unless you can have a good fact check for me. Because like, okay, here's the difference between poisonous and venomous. Poisonous is like if you eat it and you die. And venomous is if it bites you and you die. So I don't know if like there are any snakes that you eat it and it's bad for you, but I wouldn't recommend that. There are some poisonous snakes, yeah. See, the thing in science is that there are very rarely absolutes. So there's very infrequently things that are always true or never true. So especially something that sounds sort of reasonable, like, are there any poisonous snakes? I would believe that there's at least one poisonous snake. And in fact, would be very surprised if there wasn't, you know? So it's always a safer bet to like hedge. I call it the scientist hedge because you can always save yourself by saying some if you know that it's true for at least one case, or not all if you know it's not true for at least one case. So is the human bite deadly? It depends on what you mean by deadly. Like if you bit through someone's arm and they bled out, they would die, but I wouldn't call it your bite is deadly. I would say that you injured them fatally with your bite. You know? Capybara facts. Capybaras are actually just known for being very chill, so all of those pictures of capybaras just chilling with other animals, it literally is just because they're chill like that. How are you moving when you kick the water? You pretty much like push against the water. You push water like behind you as you go forward. But yeah, you're literally just pushing water. I bite a snake and die, it's poisonous. It bites me, I die, it's venomous. It bites me, it dies. Then what? That means that you are poisonous to the snake. Rubik's Cube tip, watch a tutorial. Yeah, that is actually kind of unironically what I say to people when they ask like for my tips on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Partially because I'm not a tutorial girly, and also partially because on live it is very hard for me to do a tutorial. I tried once to explain what I was doing while I was live, and it didn't work. It didn't work. Why are you always scared to ask for help? Because you're afraid of looking stupid, perhaps? And you maybe have been humiliated in the past before for asking for help, but know that not everybody is like that, and if they are being mean, and it is not your fault. Are universes real? Yes. Universes are definitely real, or at least they're real in the sense that the thing that humans have decided to call a universe is a real thing, not a theoretical thing. But if you're asking about multiverses, that is a theoretical thing, not a real thing. But it could be. You never know. Are unicorns real? Unicorns are not real, but narwhals are. And jackalopes are not. I don't know why, but I totally thought jackalopes were real until an embarrassing late age. I don't know why. Like, no one has ever tried to mislead me about the reality of jackalopes, but I just believe that they were. What's a stereotypically attractive person / what defines beauty? Usually symmetry. Usually symmetrical things are considered beautiful. There's an actual answer to that. Why is symmetry considered pretty? That is a great psychology question that I don't know the answer to. Is beauty not relative? Oh, it absolutely is. But like they were asking stereotypical beauty. So like oftentimes people who are very symmetrical are considered beautiful in general. So that's just stereotypical and not the rule. Can I please say a cat fact? Sure. Cats spend about 70% of their lives sleeping, which if you've ever met a cat, you know that to be true. You remember stepping on a Lego when you were 4? Yeah, I think around age 3 or 4 is when some memories start being made. Are humans still evolving anything cool? I have no idea. Humans have not been around. I mean, like modern humans as we know them haven't been really around for all that long. So like we have definitely evolved a lot since the first humanoids, but I'm not sure exactly what has happened in human evolution history in recently, because also like the point of evolution is that it happens over a really, really long period of time, so it's literally impossible to watch evolution happen. But are we alone in the universe? I have no idea. Part of me feels like yeah. I think I lean towards yeah, because the circumstances that make humans exist is so specific, and I can't imagine these very specific circumstances happening again in a completely different environment. Yeah, I don't know, because like people are always like, it's so human centric to believe that we're the only things in the universe. I don't think it's human centric. I think it's just statistics. And I also believe like even if there is life on other planets, it's not going to be similar to our carbon based life that we have on Earth. So I don't know. I'm skeptical. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely correct, but I am saying that I am skeptical. So hopefully that hedges enough for people not to get mad at me. If conditions were different on Earth, would humans have evolved differently? Yeah. I mean, humans are changing things and causing other species to evolve so differently. So like if our human actions can change evolution on Earth now, think about what would happen if the entire universe changed. Superpowers would be cool. Maybe. Did you ever watch X-Men? Bugs in general are a very good source of protein, and a lot of environmentalists are trying to campaign for more people to start eating bugs as protein because it's very sustainable and actually a good source of said macromolecule. But the thing is that people just need to get over the ick factor. Would I eat the bugs? I feel like I would try it. I feel like you just have to know that it's sanitary and then get over the ick factor, you know? But like, we do things that are gross all the time. We eat things that are gross to other people all the time. So like, if we can just get used to it, then like, probably. Blood type fact is that your blood type is just determined by the proteins on your blood cells. So if you are A, then you have the A protein on your blood cells. If you're B, then you have the B type protein. And if you're AB, that means you have both the A and B. And if you're O, then you'd have no proteins. You mean antigens? I try to use language that people can understand. And I think if I were to say, you have a bunch of antigens on your blood, that's a different conversation than if I say you have proteins on your blood cells. Yeah, so I try to gear my language towards a general audience. When did we last discover a new element? Pretty recently, actually, like within the last few years. Like all of the random junk at the bottom of the periodic table. Thoughts on element 115. I don't know what element 115 is. That periodic table is a vintage looking periodic table. How do parrots speak words? They are literally just mimicking. So I don't know the exact physiology of how they are saying all of the words, but like they don't really understand what they're saying. They're literally just like, it's kind of like a skill in the same way that dogs do things for treats. Parrots will say things that sound like human words because they know they'll get like a reward if they do. So like they know that if they say Polly wants a cracker, then Polly will get a cracker, you know? But it's not like, they don't do that in nature. They don't do that in the wild. They just are very good at mimicking things and they get rewarded for it. So random animal fact is that rabbits eat their own poop. I'm so cool, thanks. Every now and then I'll get like, I think it's just, here's the thing. The reason why I can't take hate comments seriously is because I get like literally opposite comments to each other. Like some people are like, wow, you're so talented at that. And then other people are like, you're so slow. Do you even know what a cube is? And then I have people being like, you're so cool. And some people being like, nerd, lame. And like, nerd is just not an insult anymore. So I'm like, that doesn't even work. But honestly, I feel the reason why I don't like hate comments is not like, yeah, they suck. But also it's like, there's kids in my comments and I don't want kids like seeing people being mean as if that's normal. It's not normal to be mean to other people. I don't know if you guys like, I don't know if like people on the internet understand, but it's not normal to comment hate comments on other people, on real people. Like that's not normal. If you're commenting hate about a movie, sure, that's valid. But like It is not normal to be mean to people. It's just not. So anyway, that's all.